when you think of December weather, what probably comes to mind is snow and cold. This December has been anything but that. In this week's Climate Friday newsletter, we're going to talk about wet, dreary, damp weather in December, and the weather outside this week exemplifies a trend that we are noticing in the realm of climate change. Decembers are getting wetter, and that doesn't always mean more snow, and oftentimes, as we see this year, we're seeing more rainfall during the month of December. You can head to WTOL.com/email to subscribe, and for now, let's break down wet December weather and how it's becoming more common in the future, and you might see that in our 10-day forecast on WTOL 11. Let's get to our weather graphics here as we talk about the wet December that we are seeing right now and what climate change may tell us about that. Now, if we look at the actual data, December is one of the months that has actually grown more wet and more dreary over the years. Just in the last decade alone, we have seen a 4% increase in precipitation in December. Now, that includes both rain and snow, but that's still a pretty significant number for just one decade's time. What we're seeing is the moisture available for rain is on the increase, and early season snow, well, that's becoming a little bit less likely than it used to be. Now, winter time is actually one of the most affected seasons due to climate change. These green bars show you winter and spring in terms of how rainfall has increased over the years. Winter has seen about a 4% increase, as I just mentioned. Now, of course, spring is the season that has changed the most. You'll notice all the way up to about 7%. Now, fall and summer have actually grown a little bit drier, shown by those brown boxes, as rainfall has declined, but overall, the year is becoming wetter in Toledo and across much of the country, and winter exemplifies that, especially the month of December. Now, even though climate change does play one role, also, the jet stream impacts how much precipitation we get. Over the next couple of weeks, we are going to see what's called an active jet stream, and essentially what that means is lots of storm systems across the Great Lakes region, as I've shown in this green area. What happens is the jet stream takes a nosedive across the country's midsection and brings up disturbances and energy across the Great Lakes region. From Michigan to Ohio down towards Tennessee and Kentucky, this active storm track means a number of storm systems that'll bring us rain chances for the next couple of weeks. So what does the long range outlook look like? For the next couple of weeks, wet weather is expected across much of the lower 48 United States, and the bullseye, that darker green color, is just to the west and northwest of us. You'll notice those greens indicate wetter than normal conditions, and especially areas across Indiana up towards Wisconsin and Minnesota. That is where the active storm track is going to bring the most precipitation chances. That being said, Michigan and Ohio still expected to get some rainy, wet weather for the next couple of months. Now, scientists have observed winter precipitation is on the uptick, and that is true of much of the Great Lakes region. However, the southeast has actually seen a drop in winter rainfall, and same with the Pacific Northwest. That being said, most of the country's midsection, including the Great Lakes region, into the upper Midwest and all the way down to Texas, has seen an uptick in winter rainfall. So when is our next rain system? Well, if you're watching this on Friday, you're likely already seeing some rain showers. Now, there is the chance for some snowflakes to mix in, but one of the things that climate change does change is that those temperatures are often above the freezing mark, and that means we see more rain than snow. Overall rainfall totals around a quarter inch expected out of that system. So let's talk about the mechanism, or the why, behind when rainfall is increasing. It has to do largely with temperatures. We're seeing warmer temperatures that are above freezing. So of course, systems that in the past may have brought us snow, when we're above freezing, we see more rain than anything. We're seeing an uptick in moisture, and that means greater evaporation as well. Temperatures cause more evaporation off the Great Lakes. Same can be said for the Gulf of Mexico, the Pacific, and the Atlantic. Bodies of water providing moisture for heavy rainfall, and all that moisture, when it gets up in the clouds, it has to go somewhere, and that causes precipitation. Heavier rain and less early season snow is one of the biggest trends that you've likely experienced and that scientists and climatologists are noticing. Now, December really fits into that framework nicely. In other words, in the last decade, we've seen a 3-degree increase in December temperatures, and with warmer temperatures, we're often ending up on the rainy side of things, not the snowy side of things, and also with those warmer temps, we are seeing greater evaporation. Now, that's just in the last 10 years. Since 1970, that number is intensified. We've seen a 5-degree winter warming in the Toledo metro in the last 50 years since the 70s. Winter rainfall is on the rise, and winters in general, they are getting much wetter and also warmer than average. And that's one of the trends that we are seeing right here and now in that WTOL 11 10-day forecast. Now, of course, weather and climate both are hand in hand in this role, and the La Nina aspect does have a role as well. We are seeing the pooling of cooler than normal ocean waters in the northern Pacific Ocean, and what that does is it causes that active jet stream across the country's midsection. Now, that's the weather pattern that I just showed you that brings a number of storm systems across the Great Lakes region, and that has not only to do with climate change, but also the La Nina winters. When we get that blocking high out in the Pacific and that cooler than normal ocean water, we get an active jet stream across the midsection of the United States. Overall, we are seeing warmer temperatures causing more evaporation, and that evaporation leads to heavier rain across the country's midsection. Now, last but not least, I want to talk Christmas weather. I know we're only in early to mid-December, but never too early to start planning for the holidays. Climate change may be affecting Christmas snow, and that's something I'll break down a little bit more in the next couple of weeks. Looking at Christmas warming, we start off here in 1970, and the present is the end of our graph. In Toledo, we have seen a 3.2 degree increase in Christmas temperatures, and with that rise in temperatures, we're seeing a little bit less Christmas snow and a little bit more Christmas rain. In other words, white Christmases becoming less likely and wet Christmases with rainy conditions becoming more likely due to that 3.2 degree increase. Now, we still see some extremes in terms of Christmas weather. We've gotten all the way up to 63 on Christmas, and time will tell what this year has in store. Stay tuned to WTOL 11 for the latest 10-day forecast, and to subscribe to the Climate Friday newsletter, head to WTOL.com/email, and in the next couple weeks, we'll break down the impacts of climate change on Christmas and how that may be affecting our Christmas snows. Stay tuned for the very latest.